Is Minecraft's world gen bad? There's been a lot of discussion online recently about Minecraft's world gen and kind of its art style as a whole, but a lot of people are talking about how the modern world gen is like too realistic. It's not as good as Beta's world gen, and I kind of want to talk about that in this video. So when it comes to Minecraft's world gen, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what makes world gen good or bad, because everyone kind of has their own play styles. So for some people, modern world gen is great, it's perfect. And for other people, they might prefer... Why is there a torch here? They might prefer like beta, or even like adventure update world gen or whatever. So I think it's kind of subjective, but for the sake of the video, we're gonna pretend it's objective. And I'm probably going to think about it like, I think it's important to think about what the point of Minecraft's world gen is. And to me, I think it's meant to inspire the player and act as like the canvas, I guess, if that makes sense. So like, as you're exploring your world, the world gen should inspire you to like make certain things, and it shouldn't be working against you like certain versions do, which I'll get to. And I think it's interesting because I think beta and modern world gen almost do the same thing but differently. So I have 4 worlds here. I went to 4 different versions, and I loaded the world, generated some chunks, and kind of explored a little bit, and then I just ported them to the modern version so it's easier to explore. But we're gonna look at 4 different examples of world gen, starting from beta 1.7.3. So this is all these worlds use the same seed. Duplexer is just using the seed duplexer, and they're all going to be using the same seed. And I just kind of did some exploring. Don't mind the colors. They kind of... yeah. So this is beta 1.7.3 world generation. This is the update right before the adventure update. And this is not spawn, by the way. Spawn's like over this way, I think. We're gonna see some weird chunk errors and stuff because it's gonna try and generate like new world gen and stuff. That's from when I was, yeah, that's from earlier. But as you can see, it's very, the world gen itself is kind of blocky, you know? Like you have like these very like cubic sort of mountains and harsh cliffs like this, but it gives it like its own charm, and it's very like mystical almost and magical. Like there's a lot of whimsy here, and it is not realistic at all. But one thing that, okay, yeah, like that's actually really weird to see. What that is so strange, seeing it cut from beta to modern. That's so weird. But yeah, like the hills, the cliffs are like super sharp like that, and they just have like these weird, wacky kind of shapes and arches. You got like little floating chunks right here, and while it's not realistic, it's very, very inspiring. Like you could build all sorts of really cool things with this world gen, and it complemented the game in its beta stage really, really well. One thing I really like is that, like especially with these older versions, is that the terrain is very flat and smooth. So like, if this is kind of a flash area right here, there's not a whole lot of like holes, and like there's like a couple little like things like here that you would have to clean up. But if you wanted to like build down here, that would be like super easy. Like it wouldn't be a whole chore to clean up the, like, that's kind of like annoying to fix, but like it's not too bad. And like look at that desert. That desert is like super flat. It's like really, really, really flat. And it's all like really smooth. And I actually really like that a lot. But again, beta suffers from just like a general lack of content. There's not very many biomes. There's not a whole lot of like, I don't even think there's any structures. I think there's dungeons. I think it really shines in like the cliffs and stuff. And it ends up being like super inspiring to explore, and you kind of get some ideas of like, ooh, I could build a really cool thing here, or a path would look really good cutting through this valley. Like, it's very easy to imagine different things you could build with this. And I think you could say the same about Modern World Gen, but we'll get to that when we go check that out. So, moving on from beta, we have the adventure update. Ignore Axiom. So here we have, actually, I'm gonna use Axiom so I can fly faster. So this is, I think this is version 1.6.4. This is right before the update that changed the world, basically. And we still have chunk errors, which is lovely, but as I think the main issue with this version is it's just boring. It is, I think the jungle actually looks really good. This, oh, like, ignore this. Like, I think this is almost better than, I don't know, I haven't seen a modern jungle in a while. But I feel like modern jungles are really flat and boring right now, if I'm not mistaken. This feels a lot more interesting to explore though. Like, you have like these really sharp hills in the jungle, which is actually really nice. I wish this might be the only biome that's done well in this version. But other than that, I mean, well, one, this doesn't make much sense. Like snowy taiga next to a desert. Like if you wanted to build something large scale, that would be very conflicting, right? The desert's not so flat anymore. It's not too bad, but it's like kind of you know? You know, we still got like some whimsy here and there, you know? But it's not like as drastic as beta was. And then let's fly this way. So that might be a chunk error, yeah. We do have the extreme hills, which I believe still exists even today, but like differently. It didn't generate like this though. But to be honest, this does have like the whimsiness of that a lot of people really like, but like it's kind of boring, you know, almost like it's kind of just like stuck to this one biome, and like it's the most boring empty biome you could ever want. The grass color is like nice, but like you don't always want that grass color, and like yeah, it's like a whole thing. And then in the plain, this is evident in the next version we'll check out, but there's like a lot of little ponds here as well in the plains. At least it's flatter, you know? At least the plains is like a bit more flat, and it's still kind of smooth and clean, which is nice. But to be honest, I think this kind of world gen is just kind of boring. It's not really inspiring. Like, I can't really imagine a whole lot of builds you can make working with the terrain. It's like the terrain is working against you, and you gotta do a lot of different terraforming to make something actually like nice looking. Yeah, like as you explore, there's just not really much to like get out of this, you know? And it kind of just, that's kind of like all I have to say about the adventure update. I think the general consensus is that a lot of people don't like the adventure update and what it did to World Gen. Hence why there's whole communities online based around the versions before the adventure update. So yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah, I'm actually like shocked how much I like the jungle. Like the jungle, like this actually feel, the little patches of water everywhere really help in these like sharp hill. I actually really like this. I kind of wish this was still in modern, because this looks really good. So moving to, what was this? Yeah, this is going to be 1.17.1. So this is an interesting version because this is right before the Caves and Cliffs update. So we got most modern biomes in this version, and most modern like structures and stuff as well. But the world generation's like kind of dated feeling. This almost feels like the adventure update, but almost done better, and a little cleaner, a little nicer. So the extreme hills have snow on them now, which, I mean, I think it's better. You still got like that kind of whimsical vibe that they gave, and they're a lot bigger, it seems. So that's kind of cool. I definitely like this rendition of the extreme hills better than the other version of it. But a lot of people have mentioned that there are a lot of ponds. There are a lot. Like, they're everywhere throughout this plains. And, I mean, this doesn't even feel like a plains at this point. I mean, you have, like, little holes like this you would have to patch up. Little, like, divots, like, right here. Like, this just seems annoying. Like, if you're in a plains, you want, like, flat land, right? That's, like, what you're looking for. I definitely think this is better than the adventure update, but I don't think it fixes the issues of the adventure update. And it kind of is still a bit boring. It's not as boring, though, because there's just more content, you know? So, I think we're cutting it, right? It's gonna, like, cut into, like, new World Gen. I don't remember how far I explored, but... I mean, ooh, I actually like this. This little forest like this. This is kind of cool. Like, I actually do kind of like that. Also, it's kind of cool that these icebergs are, like, crashing into the... I think that's just because it's generating new stuff right here. But that's kind of cool that I did that. Yeah, this is pretty cool, you know? You got, like, two little cliffs right here. That's kind of cool. Like, you could build something really cool there. But overall, it's just kind of... This is a cool village! Wait. What the heck? This is so cool. Wait, I love how this generated. This is, like, so fun. Again, I've used the same seed. It's just Deplexer for all these worlds. And every time I've been, like, pleasantly surprised by the world gen that it's been giving me. Like, this is, like, really cool. You can clear, like, I don't know. I never really... And, like, this little cliff here? That's, like, really cool. Whoa. I like this. So, like, it has its moments. But I don't think it's as good as it could be, and I think Mojang felt the same way, and that's why they did Caves and Cliffs. That's definitely new over there. So let's get away from there. I think the adventure update and the update that changed the world are definitely the worst renditions of Minecraft's world gen, or like by far. But honestly, they're not that bad, but like they're kind of that bad. Like they definitely have issues, and I think, and once we explore the Caves and Cliffs world gen, I think it'll all piece together what I mean. Yeah, let's go check that out. Alright. This is the latest version as of recording this video. 26.2. Yeah, we're on 26.2. And this is the world generation. So there are times where it definitely feels very realistic, right? You have like these really big valleys and winding rivers and stuff. The biomes are definitely bigger and more sprawling, and the elevations are a lot higher. But I don't think it's always as realistic as everyone's saying. Like, you have like little areas like this where this is definitely not realistic, and this definitely leans a little bit more whimsical, right? And every now and then you can see little like hints and pieces of like almost beta-esque generation when you're exploring a modern world. Like over here, this definitely feels a lot more whimsical and interesting, right? This is a lot like this. I think this is, yeah, it's meant to be kind of a cave, but it created like this cool little like almost like pit right here, and like this looks really cool. I think Caves and Cliffs provides a little something for everyone. So like right here you have like super weird like cliff faces, but then you have like something a little more smooth, right? I do think this version has, I think its biggest issue is the flatness and the smoothness, where this is a plains and this feels almost unbuildable. Like this, like there's no flat land, like large flat land almost anywhere. Like this looks flat from a distance, but in reality it is not at all. Like you have like all these little holes you gotta fill in. You might want to shave like half this off. Like it is a nightmare. Like building anything in a almost like anywhere, you have to, it is a whole project just to terraform the whole world, because it's so uneven and messy. But you do get nice views with like these. I think these mountains are gorgeous. I really like what they've done with the mountains. And this brings me back to the point I made at the beginning, is that the world gen's supposed to be inspiring. It's supposed to give you ideas as you explore, because it's a sandbox, right? So like the world gen should be helping you rather than working against you. I think it works against you in what I just talked about with the flatness, but as for being inspirational, I mean, this is so cool. You could build like a castle right here, have like this really cool view, and maybe like build a moat around here, or maybe a village with a path going across there. Boom. Easy. Like, it's so easy to get ideas with modern world gen. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a very, very good thing. Or if you want something a little more whimsical or interesting, you got stuff like this. This is straight beta world generation. Like, this looks crazy, but it's really, really cool. This usually happens when a cave kind of cuts through things, but that was only like right there. Like, this is definitely like a cave coming through here, but this looks really cool. And it definitely feels a little more classic and out like beta, quote unquote. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. And like, you got, this is like super cool. Look at this. This looks like someone straight up like terraformed this already for you. Like, that's really cool. Like, you could, like, there's like a really cool formation right here. I don't know what you would build here, but like, it's really cool looking. While I think it's entirely up to your like preferences aesthetically, I think Modern World Gen has something for everybody. And I don't really think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Because, like, there really is something for everybody here. Like, if you want the more wild, crazy, like, mystical kind of world gen, you can find it. You might have to look for it, but you can find it. I do kind of like, ooh, look at this. Like, imagine building a little house here. That's so cool. Like, this is like really, really cool. I think they've somehow managed to appease to everyone, and I don't think people have really realized that yet with the world gen. Because like you always see like those screenshots of like the most, where it's like huge valleys and like canyons like this, and it's all super like hyper realistic almost, and a lot of people are complaining that the worlds always look like that and only look like that, and I don't think that's true at all. I think there's a lot of variation. To be honest, I do wish Minecraft's world gen wasn't so like repetitive or restrictive though. Cherry blossoms always, like, they're a meadow biome. I think that's what they consider this. So they're always at like a super high elevation, or they're always like surrounded by like mountains. This isn't like so bad. This is like a good example of cherry blossom generation. I actually really like this. But oftentimes you'll see these generating at the top of a hill. Kind of like this. And while it looks cool, I kind of wish you could find cherry blossoms generating down here. Like, I wish there was like a cherry blossom plains or forest that could just generate like this. And sometimes I wish you could find, because like I believe World Gen has like mutators, right? Where it can like mutate certain biomes certain ways to be like, ooh, look at that. This is like perfect example of like somewhat beta-esque world gen. Like, you have like a cave throughout here, but like you have this little tiny valley with these like super sharp, blocky, weird cliffs. And also, you have the Shattered Savannah. That's one of the craziest biomes we have in the game. I do think they should just add, but like, yeah, I think they should add more mutators for certain biomes to generate certain ways. I think that would be really, really cool to see, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there to make World Gen even more interesting and inspiring. At the end of the day, the goal of the World Gen, at least for me, in my opinion, is to inspire the player in whatever way it can. So it's gotta provide like a lot of different stuff, and I think it does a really good job. I don't think it's nearly as bad as anyone says it is. It's very easy to get ideas. I think if that's the point of the game's world generation, I think it succeeds very well at it now. And I think beta does as well. I think beta does just as good of a job, but it works for the beta playstyle. Beta has less blocks, less mechanics, it's a lot more simple, but the world gen reflects that, and it works. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is cool. And like, yo, this is really cool. This is straight like almost alpha-esque. With like the, what are they called? What do they call those things? Oh my god. The monoliths, I think they're called. This feels very, like, old Minecraft-y. And it's not just because of the resource packs. I can turn these off, and you can see, even still, this feel like it's not just because of textures that I had on. This feels very much like old World Gen, right here. And this is 26.2. Yeah, I think there's something for... I think it definitely has its issues. As you can see, this is definitely an issue right here. I also think there could definitely be more variations in the different stuff, because every biome kind of generates the same way, you know? cherry blossoms always elevated, meadows are always up here like that. Like, it'd be cool to have, like... Why is this flatter than the plains? What? Why can't plains generate like this? This isn't so bad. Like, you look at that plains. That is so messy, but this is not. That's so weird, right? Yeah, I'd like to see more variation and different, like, modifiers to different biomes. Because I think that would really help with giving the world a little more variation and opportunity to create cool stuff to inspire the player. And that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment on what you think about this whole situation with Minecraft's World Gen and all that. I think it's super interesting. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'm probably going to go play Forza Horizon 6, because that's what I've been doing lately. Yeah. And with all that out of the way, that's going to be the end of this video. Bye!